Hi everyone, welcome to another pick a card reading. Today's reading is going to be How Can I Help? I am recording this and publishing this at a very chaotic time, but these are meant to be timeless, but keep in mind it's unusual circumstances. Anyhow, you have 3 piles to choose from. We have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Pile 1 is this... Did you ever play Pente? Growing up, my parents loved this game called Pente, but I never heard of it from anyone else. But they had these marble beads like this. It was kind of like backgammon. I don't know. But this is my imagination stone. I guess we can call it an opalescent stone. Opal stone. Opal is my birthstone, by the way. The second pile is this Clef pin, like a bass clef. And the third item is this angel token. I think my, there's a friend of the family, Dana, I think she gave it to me. She's kind of like an aunt. This is an angel token. So you have 3 piles to choose from. I'll let you choose. If you need to pause and reflect, do so. But I'll get into pile 1. Okay, so how can you help? And I have sort of set some cards aside for certain purposes. So these cards are what do you need to purge, what do you need to release, or what needs to be purged, what needs to be released, what sort of ugliness is coming to the surface, what sort of ugliness is triggering others, what sort of pain is being brought to your attention that you need to address, right? So we have the 9 of Swords reversed. This could be mental health issues. We have a porcupine. Hold on. It's a very like Beetlejuice card. We have a porcupine here. He's blindfolded, but he has a sort of laser beam coming out of his head. He has like a clear focus, even though he's blind. This is making me think of like not letting anything distract you. He has some fire on him and then spikes, and then beneath him he has a treasure chest buried. There's also bones buried. So he has left a legacy. He has worked really hard to build this legacy, to build his finances, to protect his finances, and he has done all he needed to do to get to that goal. So what would be an example of this? An example of this would be doing everything by the book to get a good deal on a mortgage, right? To be a responsible homeowner, to be productive in society, so that your children have property, right? Wealth ownership through property, having something for your kids to inherit after you pass away, right? So, but this is something that you work towards, right? So it's not something that's easy, but it's a very, like, if you are in the U.S., it's a very American thing, right? Like, work hard, 40 hours a week, white picket fence, home ownership, 2.5 kids, married, blah, blah, blah. So it's like you have checked every box, you have made sure you have done everything the right way, you have gotten the degree that you needed to get, you have gone through the training that you needed to get, you've gone through the certifications that you needed to get, you have done everything by the book. But because this is reversed, I feel like there is something like thwarting this process. And if it's not you, this is just a problem that is being reflected back to you in our society, right? So it may not be happening to you, but it can be something that you're seeing right now that's happening to another group of people, right? So there's something over this porcupine, like I said, kind of like a Beetlejuice figure, where it was like a possum, like eating like out of the desert sand, right? And when I look at it upright, I think like that possum's not going to win because he has spikes, he has swords. But because it's reversed, it's like this sort of the Goliath right here to this David, right? The Goliath to this David who's worked hard and deserves to reap what he's sown, the good things that he's sown, right? Because he's had this focus on being a good person. This Goliath is over here sort of thwarting that process, and we see like lightning striking down here, right? So it might even be like punitive measures to keep someone from achieving a level of success that they worked hard for, right? So even though they have like all this protection and all this good procedures to get there, there is a Goliath overhead who is sort of thwarting this process, right? We also have the fool reverse. So when we think of the fool, sometimes we think of recklessness, being foolish, being silly. So this system that we're purging in this pile is sort of talking about economic systems that are set up to for people to fail. Like as hard as they work, they're going to fail at the system, right? Because there's always like a giant overhead. And this could be the economic group. This could be like the 1% 99 group, right? But with all of this money and all of this power, it's like a merit-based system isn't paying off, right? We're not sort of reaping these rewards. But because we're not reaping these rewards, it also creates this narrative that we are foolish, right? That we don't save, that we are reckless with our money, that we need payday lenders, and that we, are a bunch of crusty hippies who are just like occupying Wall Street, or, welfare queens, or any sort of like leech sucking off of the system, right? So this system is creating a false narrative that people are being reckless, people are being foolish, people are taking risks they're not supposed to. I hate the argument, if you went to college, you should have majored in engineering. Like, everyone can't be an engineer. If everyone majored in engineering, then that would oversaturate that pool, and no one would be able to get a job because there's only so much you can engineer. Anyway, I know engineering is very broad, but I'm just saying, and not everyone has that skill set. So it's just sort of this blame of you should have done things this way, when it's I did things in a proper way. I got a degree. I worked hard for that degree. I have been paying my loans, and home ownership is still very much a fairy tale, even though what we have been told is it should have been easy with all of this work we're putting into, right? So again, it creates this false narrative of you're only sucking off the system, you're not contributing to society, you're not working hard. I've also been thinking recently about the stereotype in the Black community when, and this is going to get a little partisan, I'm sorry, but I have to explain it this way. But a lot of people on the right, they'll say that the Black community doesn't work, and that they're lazy, and that they're welfare queens. And I have just been thinking lately, have you ever heard a rap song? Have you ever heard a hip hop song? It's always about work hard, play hard, independent woman. I worked hard for my money. So yeah, I've just been thinking about how silly that is. So these narratives are about being lazy, about not working hard, are erroneous because everyone is working hard, right? But it's getting turned around into being foolish with our money, being reckless. So what are the keys to unlocking, like, what is the path forward? Okay, we have the Fool. Oh my God, this is so interesting, guys. It's the Fool twice, but in a totally different energy. Because here we have the Fool reversed, recklessness, foolishness. Here we have the Fool upright, which is like taking a risk, taking a leap of faith on something, venturing into new territory, new frontiers, new horizons, charting new territories, thinking of different ways we can do things. Basically, restructuring this system, right? Restructuring this narrative, doing something new. But it's not in a reckless pursuit. It's not in a foolish pursuit. It's in a new, unjaded, like, nothing can stop you, no obstacles in your way. So this is the energy you're going to have to embody, that these changes are possible, even though they may not have been done before, that any changes we make are we're perfectly capable of. I also want to say, as far as money goes, with this Fool energy, the Fool represents Aries a lot of times. I'm picking up a lot of Aries energy. And the Fool and Aries energy, it's about independence, right? It's about I am me. So I feel like the solution to this, the key to unlocking this, is stepping into self-employment, stepping into working for yourself, having more agency and autonomy over workplaces, because it's like, with this doing things by the book and getting thwarted by the Goliath, I'm thinking of the last workplace I worked for. And it's a big company. I'm not going to say who it is, but it's a big company. And they laid a bunch of people off. They laid they had like 4 rounds of major layoffs in 1 year. And it really hurt the company morale, because it's like, well, when are they going to lay me off? I might as well not work hard, right? And the last layoff really hit hard because, 1, it was around the holidays, which F you, but 2, they fired people, or they let go people who were like experts in their field. They had been there 20 years, and like no one in the department knew how to do what they did, and they were like very useful to the company and very useful to my department, very useful to all of our departments, but they let them go because they didn't want to keep giving them raises. So this is saying that something that has the guise of job security, like this corporate business model of clocking in 40 hours a week, working at a cubicle, it doesn't have the job security that it used to. And so I feel like we have to chart new territories in how we earn money for ourselves, because we can't rely on these Goliaths to support us anymore, right? We can't rely on these Goliaths to give us that retirement that we've been working for, right? And like the experts in their field, like they were passionate about their work, and so they were like invested in that work, and the people higher up, they just didn't value that service, right? So I feel like with this Fool energy, this is charting new territories in regards to being your own boss and having your own sort of rights and power. I was a housekeeper for 3 years, and even though it's not the most prestigious job, you're scrubbing toilets, right? I loved it being self-employed, because I had all these clients, and it's kind of like tarot and astrology now, although the light work that I do right now is more of a part-time retirement plan thing. But when I was housekeeping, you know, I had all these clients, and so if one client was abusive or crappy to me, like, I didn't have to take that. I could just say, okay, bye, I'll find another client, right? So I had more autonomy, more agency to where my work was rewarded, right? So let's get on to the other card. I'm a little jazzed up, but I feel like this is, we're moving into more spaces of being our own boss. I have the Five of Swords reversed right here. And with this Five of Swords, it's a little different than some other decks, but it shows her outside of the door and she's crying. And it kind of feels more, kind of feels more like a Five of Pentacles energy, like left out in the cold, like shut out of this door, and like this growth. It's like there's growth, there's life outside of this door, and she's sort of like clinging to this past of what's behind this door, but it's like all this life is like, forget about this door, girl, you know, like there's new stuff coming here. So reversed, I feel like that is the energy we're taking on, right? That's the key to moving into this next phase of how we can help the collective, right? Is to take more agency, is to be our own boss in many ways. And gig work, yeah. So you might like move into gig work, move into self-employment. Yeah. What more can I say? So how is this going to shift on the collective level? We have the Six of Cups reversed, we have the Four of Swords reversed, and we have the Page of Pentacles reversed. Excuse me. Excuse me. What I get from these cards, from the Six of Cups reversed, I get like several messages from this set of cards. I need to drink some water. Sorry, 1 second, please. Oh, okay. So with the Six of Cups, the Six of Cups talks about bad memories to me, and so I'm thinking about like resentments that we hold with our workplaces. Sometimes, you know, whenever they treat us badly, it's like, oh, I hate this boss. I'm like saving all of my HR shit just to like unload on this girl. And so it just like builds up and festers, right? So I feel like how this is going to change the collective is it's going to let go of a lot of resentments. It's going to let go of a lot of baggage that we have. And it's sort of like silly hate. Not to get too personal and making it about me, but that company I was talking about earlier that had all the layoffs, I got sexually harassed there. And I had to deal with HR, right? And HR sort of spun it into more of a traumatic experience than it even originally was, because they had their job to do in protecting the company, right? And so I had all this animosity towards HR, but HR was just doing their job. So I'm feeling like with this Six of Cups, it's like letting go of unnecessary animosity, right? Like, I just wanted to work in a space where I wasn't a sex object, and the HR ladies just wanted to do their job of protecting the company's reputation, right? So I feel like when we start to take agency for ourselves and work towards more self-employed lifestyles, then there's not this like middleman drama, right? Like you're not gonna like hate Susan from HR because she didn't listen to your story. I also want to say that with the Six of Cups, I feel like there's a child energy with this, and the Fool, it has a childlike energy too, like being childlike, being foolish, right? So Six of Cups is about children, and the Page of Pentacles is about children too. So, or the pages are about children. So I feel like if you are a parent, if you are a mother, a father, and you feel like you are not getting the job security from the traditional business model that you're like a part of, then being self-employed, being your own boss in some way is going to free up more time with your kids. With this Four of Swords, this reminds me a little sad. It reminds me of when I was a kid and my parents worked a lot, and I was a latchkey kid, so, and an only child, so I was just like at home alone, twiddling my thumbs, like bored and sad, yeah, it gets like really lonely. So if you are shifting into the self-employed work from home experiences, then you'll have more time with your children, which is more important overall. I think it will also help some of your children with their school because you can be more attentive to their homework whenever they have questions and make sure that they actually do it. That's for some of you. And chores. I feel like some of you, it's gonna like blow your, like rock your world as far as like getting the chores done, like having them get the chores done. I also feel like with this Page of Pentacles reversed back to like sort of the sexual harassment angle, I don't know if all of y'all have dealt with that. It's just like an example to show you, because those experiences like that, like I'm one of many, you know, like it happens all the time. You probably have a story too. Tell me if you do, because it helps to share. But I feel like with this Page of Pentacles, it's like one thing that really angered me in the process was I felt like I just wanted the company to change its culture. And I felt like they were so concerned about protecting their reputation that they weren't open to listening and learning, like helping the company so that this didn't happen to other workers. That really like bothered me at the time. So I feel like with this self-employment, it's like you will teach others by living through example, rather than having to sort of uproot this David Goliath paradigm, and that like falls on deaf ears, right? Let's get some oracle cards. We have positive thinking. That's good. Follow your heart. Very the Fool energy, right? Take a leap of faith. Follow your heart. Think positive. Just go with your gut. Follow your dreams, right? We have vitality. So I think you'll be successful in this, and any opposition you face, like, I'm not going to tell you, like, you'll have good luck in every aspect, right? You may be broke going out into this venture. It's not like he has, fancy clothes on. He's a little raggedy. He has a knapsack, right? But I feel like any resistance you have, any adversity you have, any struggle you have, it's going to make you stronger so that you'll, it's kind of like building up an immunity to be strong, right? So that you can face anything, so that you have the confidence to be like, to take risks. And if you fall, then you're strong enough to heal, right? We have Gemini. You could be a Gemini. This could also talk about communication. We have positive thinking, your thinking process. Gemini, what else? Your daily routine. Daily routine is more Virgo, but Gemini is like community, like your neighbor, short distance travel, like running errands and like getting the gossip on like the fruit guy, or I don't know, going out into like exploring a community, right? So that might be the next step in how you why am I speechless? That might be the next step in how you move into this next venture. Also, we are in Gemini season at the moment. Like I said, it is this is a timeless reading, but, you know, if you're seeing this now, it's still Gemini. We also have Uranus. Interesting. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Mercury and Uranus sort of talk about this brain power. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. They're both air signs, both mental activity, again, with this positive thinking. So this really takes like a lot of strategy, a lot of mental preparedness, but the reason why Uranus is a higher octave than Mercury is Uranus talks about genius, right? Uranus talks about innovation. So this is like a whole new system that's never been done, a lot like the Fool, right? The Fool is new frontiers, something that's never been done before, taking a leap of faith on something that's never been tested, never been practiced. So this could be an invention, this could be an innovation, or just a new business model, a new way of doing things, when it's going to be completely opposite of the model you've been operating on. It's going to be completely different than the model we've all been working on, or most of us have been working on, but it's going to chart new territories for other people in the future. We also have a message from Jesus. We have, what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. That's a lot like the Fool energy, like God has my back, right? If I'm on God's side, if I'm walking in God's path, if I am trusting God, this is a very like trust in God card, because he's going off a cliff and everyone's warning him like, hey, you need to be cautious. And he's like, nope, I got the keys. God's got my back. And like putting a key into like thin air that no one else can see, right? So you have to have complete faith in God that if you want to make it happen, like God is your co-creator in this process, right? That any obstacles you can face, God will meet you halfway if you meet God halfway, right? If you just pray for it, desire it, ask for it, and make sure like it's aligned. I think this is a pile where you are aligned with God. There's a lot of positive thinking and follow your heart, good childlike energy, but and you know, more with this child narrative with the Fool and the Six of Cups and the Page of Pentacles. This could be talking about something that you, like a dream you had since you were a kid, since you were a child, and a genius that you've had, a skill set that you've had, that you always thought like, one day I was going to invent, you know, the next biggest XYZ. And you always thought this is the path to get there, and you did everything the right way, only to not have that work valued, right? Not have that like excellence valued, those achievements valued. So I feel like once you go off into your own territory, go off on your own course, then this is going to bring back those childhood feelings that are unresolved and really heal those childhood wounds of feeling like I never was able to achieve the greatness that I had as a child. Some of you might have been like prodigy children, I feel. Oh, and Gemini is kind of a childlike energy too, because it talks about early education. But yeah, if any of this is resonating with you guys, let me know. You could even be a teacher, and like teach others in a different way if this has to do with children. It doesn't have to be one profession like a scientist or anything, but yeah, let me know if this resonates with you. I love you very much. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you would like a personal reading, check the description box below. There's also some donations below for how you can help others, right? But yes, I love you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you. Bye. Hi guys, forgot which pile this was because, to be honest, I started this reading like 2 weeks ago. I did pile number 1 like 2 weeks ago, and a lot has happened since then. My memory card crapped out, I got laid off, and yeah, it's just been hard to sort of finish this reading. So I am back to number 2. It's not any concern of yours, but if everything looks different, that's why. So this is the music pile. I forget if it's pile 2 or pile 3, but I can always check. Anywho, yes. How can you help? I also want to say, I don't know if I mentioned it in the beginning video, but especially 2 weeks ago, I wanted to give links to some fundraisers for some Black Lives Matter causes and some causes that my assistant is working on, but yeah. So the moment hasn't passed. I mean, Breonna Taylor, the police that killed her are still walking free. They raised all that they needed to, but they still could use all the help to get this case cleared, because it just doesn't make sense that, you know, you can be shot in the middle of the night for no reason and the killers can just walk away. Anyway, so check the description box below if you want to help charitably. But let's get on to how can you help just in general. This can be in your personal life, in the real world. I was kind of thinking like big picture, but who knows, who knows. So this is what you have to purge, okay? We have the 6 of Cups reversed, purge some bad memories, and the 2 of Pentacles. The 2 of Pentacles is about juggling. The 2 of Pentacles is kind of this lack mentality. So I feel like you're going to have to leave the past behind. The past being the mindset that there isn't enough, right? That people don't care, that it's pointless to try to change anyone, that you know, all these people are useless. It's just a waste of my time even trying. So that's what you have to leave behind. You also have to leave behind some bad memories that put you in that mindset to begin with, meaning that if you've had bad experiences in the past, whatever this is, then you're going to have to take it, like, not so personally. Like, this isn't, like, that was the exception to the rule, right? So, that isn't how every experience plays out. It could have to do something with debt. It could also be, I'm hearing, like, political footballs, like, you're a racist, you're a libtard, blah, 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 blah. So, it's sort of like, tomato, tomato, let's call the whole thing off, right? I mean, there are some things that it's like, there's no, like, both sides about, right? But I'm getting the feeling that what you're going to have to put behind is sort of this, waffling back and forth of, well, you know, maybe you have some, good memories about a certain group, or excuse me, some bad memories about a certain group of people that you are close with. The Cups talks about emotion, and in this 6 of Cups, it's a little different. Usually it's a reunion card, and this could be someone you dated in the past. Actually, this could be an ex, but I'm getting more of a community feel with this particular energy and reading. So this is like people you have broken bread with, drinking buddies. I see this little chick here, so I feel like it could be like, you guys have kids together, like, you're friends and you have a kid and they have a kid and your kids are friends, right? That kind of energy. But there is something about sort of being in a no-win situation where damned if you do, damned if you don't. And so this is what we have to leave behind. And this is a mindset that's been created by those people you've been around in the past. So I don't think that this group has exactly a healthy mindset. I'm also hearing for some of you, this could be like very young moms. So this could be, you guys could have all had children when you were very young, and so it sort of warped some belief systems because you sort of had to grow up really fast to take care of that kid, right? So let's see the keys to unlocking this. We have it's funny I say keys because we have a key right here. We have keys right here, right? Housing. This could have something to do with housing. Because you see, like, this mallet, and he's busting a brick wall. So it's like remodeling, restructuring. This is a house card to me. Not in all decks, but because I showed you her keys. This could be, like, I feel like there's something, it's something to do with, getting people homes, home ownership. You could do Habitat for Humanity. You could do like debt jubilees where you get people out of like mortgage crises. What else could you do? You could offer your home up to someone who is in need of it. But there is some sort of hurdle that your loved ones from the past, family, friends, drinking buddies, whatever it is, that has made them grow a little cynical. It could be about this cause, right? Like, no one will ever be able to buy a home in this economy. Or, what else could it be? I'm also hearing like drug addiction. So, you might be called to, I guess I'm getting it because of the drinking. I don't know. But you might be called to, some of you might be called to help in substance abuse facilities. And people around you might tell you like, people don't change, you know, drinking is fun. Why can't you just let them drink? But it could be a challenge for you. Might be one, purging this addiction, purging this habit, but also sort of like letting go of some friends that are contributing to this mindset, and you might have outgrown them, especially if you have survived an addiction and you're dealing with that. Then these friends are sort of like bad influences, and it's like you are strong enough now in yourself to have the willpower not to give in to peer pressure, not to take that drink, smoke that blunt, whatever you want to do, or liked to do. But it's like you're fine with being the sober friend, but your friends aren't fine with it. And so that seems to be like the challenge that we're facing right now. And if you want to go into a profession, a volunteer service where you help others who have addiction, then I feel like the sort of drinking buddies, and it could be, you know, your family could just like to drink, and so you have a drinking family, right? And so they could be making fun of you for it. Let me see if there's anything else. How can you help? How can you help? I feel like it does have something to do with the home. Opening your home up to someone. Building homes. Homes for the, housing for the homeless. Affordable housing. Yeah. Let's see. I forgot what these cards meant. I'm sorry. King of Rods, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. We also have Scorpio. I was feeling Scorpio from this card, even though this is a Pentacle card. I just got like, because the death, I guess, with the skull. And then there's growth underneath. But Scorpio, strong Scorpio energy. And the Two of Swords. He's blindfolded. He can't make a choice. But this is, I feel like this is something like with the King of Wands you're passionate about, you're excited about, but with this death, it's like something about this calling to help means that you have to shed your skin, that something, a part of you has to die in order to get to this other side. And part of that process, there's something you're not exactly willing to face at the moment. Sorry. It could be, you know, just dealing with family members. Let me know. For your Jesus message, we have, nothing shall be impossible unto you. This is my favorite scripture. Mine, the four Gospels of Christ basically say the same thing. So my, like, better messaging, I think it's Mark, with God all things are possible. But you see Jesus with a little boy. And he is touching a blue butterfly. And this says, yeah, with God all things are possible. If you can conceive, and you may not conceive God this way, but people in the spiritual community, you and me, we believe all sorts of crazy stuff, right? We believe in star seeds. We believe in astral projection. We believe in dead loved ones talking to us from the other side. So if you can conceive all of those, like, unbelievable things, then a dream like this is not inconceivable. You know what I mean? So if you can conceive God, if you can conceive an invisible man in the sky, then you can conceive this dream right here, right? If God is possible as like this like overseeing omniscient person, being, whatever, force, then if you can imagine that, then you can imagine this dream. And this dream is possible. Everything in our matrix, everything we see, these cards right here, this tray right here, this rock, everything we see, my hand, everything we see in this matrix was originally conceived in our 5D minds. So everything in the 3D is a construct of our 5D minds, of the collective, what we're all thinking, right? So, something simple. My grandpa, he's a singer-songwriter, and I actually tweeted this today, that everything we conceive of it always started in our minds first, right? Everything in the 3D has come about because of the 5D. So he's a songwriter, right? And he was just joking, and he was like, oh, I never knew that. But his songs start in his head, and then they come out through his guitar into the 3D, right? So in his head, that song is a 5D entity. It isn't a song until he actually speaks it through his voice and strums it through his guitar, right? So everything that's in this 3D reality it started in our heads, right? So anything is possible. We have Virgo. This is reminding me of like plants, like growing plants. So this is like the patience of growing this dream that you have to help people. We have Neptune. Neptune is a card about art. I did see, you have the Clef note. And it's funny that I brought up my granddad, who's a singer-songwriter. So you could be a musician with this Neptune. Neptune is art, music, poetry, all that like flowy, otherworldly things. It's also the spirit world, but in this particular reading, in this particular reading, we're talking about home ownership, home building, and addiction. Ooh, Neptune talks about addiction, guys! Neptune is all about addiction. Why didn't I think about that? And Virgo is service. So, yeah, for those of you who want to go into helping people with drug abuse, with alcoholism, go for it. You're being like highly encouraged. We have generosity, so this is you giving, okay? We have confidence, so I think this is like this King of Wands, just having confidence in your dreams that anything is possible, right? And we have impermanence. Impermanence says, life is always changing and I drift easily through those changes, good and bad. As I drift through hard times, I can take comfort in knowing that I will leave them behind. As I drift away from good times, I can take comfort in knowing that more will come my way. Impermanence is an equal opportunity non-entity. Okay, so I had to read this one out loud because the message is can be a little deep to wrap our heads around, right? So what I'm getting with this, for one, is the housing market is a little crazy right now because of COVID, and so interest rates, mortgage, all of that. And so with this impermanence, I feel like for those of you who resonate with the housing energy, whatever that may be, this is going to be about seizing opportunities based on sort of the tragedy at the time, not taking advantage of tragedy, not manipulating tragedy, not exploiting tragedy. This is just, you know, seeing seeing opportunities as they come. I also want to say this applies to the addiction thing, the addiction storyline too, because this is making me think of one day at a time, right? A day can be good, a day can be bad, but you know that some days will be good and some days will be bad. So this is taking your sobriety one day at a time. This is also knowing that, like, anything you did in your past, you know, if you were a crazy drunk, if you were mean, I'm mean whenever I drink, so I don't really do it much anymore. There are, like, certain liquors that I'm okay with, but there are others that I know, like, I'm just gonna be a total bitch if I, like, take a sip of this, so I just better not, you know? But if you do act out in any sort of way, if you make mistakes while you're drinking, on drugs, whatever it may be, slept with the wrong people, stole to buy heroin, or whatever the case is. This card is letting you know not to carry that guilt around, because I feel like you can take your experiences and then help others through this kind of help, right? Through this kind of work. Really interested to know if you guys are like little addiction helpers, if you guys are sponsors, AA sponsors or something. Let me know. I love you very much. If you are struggling with drugs or alcohol, my heart goes out to you. I will send good vibes your way. But I get the sense that for this group, they've already passed that hump, so they're more like recovering alcoholic, recovering drug addict. They're just helping others, right? So let me know. I love you very much. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you would like a personal reading, check the description box below. I love you. Bye. Can't remember if this is pile number 2 or number 3. I'll have to go back in the video and check. Lots of things ran away from me. Memory card failed. Got laid off. It's been like 2 weeks since I've done this reading. So it's like I did the first pile and now the other 2 piles. I'm like, where am I? But yes, this is How Can You Help? I also think I forgot to mention in the intro or the first video that I am doing some fundraisers. My assistant is doing some fundraisers, so check the description box below. That's one way you can help, right? One is for Breonna Taylor, and one is to clean up. They probably have already finished this project by now, but my assistant was doing this fundraiser where she cleaned up stuff after the riots, or just any like civil unrest, right? Just to like clean it up. Anyway, if you'd like to help with that, she should leave information for you to help. But if you want to help in another way, let's see if you can help in another way. So how can you help? My intention was for like more of a collective charity answer, but this could definitely be on like a lower scale, help your family. I don't know, we'll see what the cards say. But you chose this angel token that my Aunt Dana, I call her Aunt, gave to me. We have the 4 of Pentacles reversed, and we have the 9 of Wands reversed. These 2 cards represent what you need to purge, what you need to let go of. So I get that you need to... I am getting that you might bend over backwards for people who would not, like, jump over a puddle for you. I don't know why I'm getting that with these cards. These cards are a little differently illustrated. I love them, but I'm just getting that you do so much for others and you go above and beyond for others and you don't really get much back in return. The 4 of Pentacles is kind of about losing money, so I feel like you might go broke just to make sure someone gets fed, right? The 9 of Wands is kind of like I'm getting like taking on too much, like I got this, right? It's about burdens, right? So it's taking on too many burdens, but I feel like this is an internal thing that you're not letting anyone know about. And it eventually, sorry, below the camera, it eventually ends up manifesting into unhealthy ways, is what I'm feeling. So this is what you need to purge. This is what you need to get rid of. This is what you need to let go of. Let's see the keys to get it moving, to go through this door. We have the Knave of Wands reversed, so 2 wands, and we have the Hermit reversed. I feel like you need to take time out for yourself. With the Hermit reversed, this is a card about solitude, but like I said, I feel like you do so much for other people. The Hermit card is about like taking time out for self-reflection, going within to sort of look at your own issues. And I feel like part of the reason that you might extend yourself to others is to avoid facing problems in yourself. It could be, trigger warning, it could be some sexual trauma is what I'm feeling, that you don't want to face within yourself because, I mean, for obvious reasons, who wants to face trauma, right? But you could be avoiding it, so you sort of mask it in helping others. So actually, how you can help others is to stop helping them and to help yourself, right? So we have, let's see, we have the 4 of Cups reversed. Interesting. Oh, what am I saying? Oh my gosh. It's so weird because I got the 4 of Cups energy with this 4 of Pentacles. It's not cups. Even though I like told the right meaning. So hold on, let me backtrack. There was something about like opportunities. FOMO. Part of the reason is, yes, it is to avoid some trauma and going within and healing yourself, nurturing yourself. This woman has a big bowl of fruit and the Hermit is like turning it away. And I feel like you're not taking the time to just like pamper yourself, love yourself, eat the foods you want. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. We have the 3 of Wands reversed. That's a card about waiting. And we have the Knight of Rods again. Repeating cards. Both reversed. Waiting, impatient. I feel like part of this learning how to go within and have a dialogue with yourself is resisting impulses. 3 of Wands is about waiting, and the Knight of Rods or Wands is about being impatient. So it's like you can't wait, right? So being committed to listening to your inner voice is going to give you patience if you feel like you might have some impulse control. We have, your Heavenly Father knoweth that you have need of, hold on. Your Heavenly Father knoweth that you have need of all these things. Oh, guys, yeah. Oh my gosh, guys. Okay, so in this card, Jesus is looking at this girl, and it's like this girl, it's like she's an adolescent girl, and I get the feeling like she's feeling all these hormonal things that teenage girls go through, right? And she feels like no one is listening to her, right? No one hears her. She can't talk to anyone, but Jesus says, hey, I'm here for you, right? And I know, like, it says you have a need of all these things. So you might have people around you who tell you stuff like, you don't need no man, you're fine just by yourself. And like, I mean, I've been saying like, do things by yourself, right? Go within, reflect. And that's definitely true. But, I feel like there is an issue here, like we said, with receiving abundance, nourishment, fulfillment. And so yes, you do need to go in and self-reflect, but there may be people around you who want to hear this story. You feel so alone, but they want to hear from you. It's just, you know, you may feel like foolish for wanting certain things. So it makes it hard to communicate feeling sad about wanting someone by your side, or wanting, I don't know. How can I articulate this? You might have also had to be the strong one for a lot of people, and so it's hard to show your soft side, show your vulnerabilities to people and talk things through, because you've always had to be sort of this Jesus figure for them. And, you know, who's this, who comforts you? Who comforts this person, right? Let's keep it moving. We have Venus, Taurus, Libra energy, beauty, love, the planet of beauty and love. We also have Aries. We have Joyville, no judgment. We have manifestation. And we have personal growth. So again, with this Hermit message, that this is a very internal thing that you need to do. Maybe you are dealing with a situation where you want to help someone else, but it's not your job to help someone else. That's their journey, right? That's something they have to learn on their own. If you did it for them, they would never learn. So they would get into the same situation and repeat themselves, right? So if you let them learn on their own, then they might have to learn the hard way, but they won't do it again, right? So I'm feeling that, especially in a love relationship with Aries. This is about, like me, again, with the personal growth, independent energy. This is I am. This is something for yourself. I also get the feeling that you might not feel like you have much of a sense of self, because you're always, I feel like you're always helping other people, and a lot of people take advantage of that, and they never ask like how you're doing, right? Like I said, you have to be the strong one for these people, and no one's ever the strong one for you. So I feel like part of your sort of nurturing yourself, self-care, nourishing yourself, is to experience joy, right? Go to a theme park by yourself one day and just have fun on the roller coasters. If you're able to. I mean, something like that, right? Something that brings you joy, that's fun, that has no end game, and that's not to impress anyone, that's not for someone else, just for you, something you like to do, right? So let me know if that resonated. I love you very much. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like a personal reading, you know what to do. Bye.